All right, good morning. Here we go. This is going to be showing you how to create the slab bottom for your luminary pot. And it's going to be about how to hand flatten your clay. So without a roller, without furring strips, just with what you've got at home and what I put into your kit. So what you need is well-wedged clay. I want you to see about how much I've got here. Okay, so it fits in your hands about like that. I can go all the way around it. That's about how much clay you need. You're going to need a ruler. You're going to need your metal rib, your clay needle, your water, a sponge, and you're going to either need a pattern or something that can do this. If you're doing a cylinder one, you'll want a round pattern of some sort. I just cut out a circle that's 4 inches across. Okay. Or you can use something you have at home. This one's pretty close. This one's just slightly more than 4 inches across. So I'll just use that. That will make it really, really easy, and it's nice and solid, so I don't have to worry about it. If you're doing the square bottom or the cube luminary, you're going to need either a pattern. This is 4 inches across. You can see it's 4 inches across. It's so 4-inch square, or you can just use your ruler. That's totally up to you. I will use the pattern because when I go to cut it out, it just makes it so slick and easy. So I will be doing that. Okay. If you are making a cylinder, it's going to be something like this. You can see all the little holes inside on the outside here. That's where the light shines through. So somewhere in your pot, you're going to be carving a bunch of things to let the light shine through. This one is a cube one, and I apologize, I do not have a cube luminary right now. So you're going to have to imagine with me, this is what it looks like, except it too would have carvings all the way around it. All right? And from here, I'm going to have to adjust my film so that you can actually see what I'm doing. So give me just a moment. All right, I think that should do it. All right, so your clay. You're going to throw it down, throw it down, throw it down. I'm turning it over each time until it's down to about 1 inch thick. You don't have to measure it or anything, but you can kind of look at it and go, oh, that's about the size of a hamburger bun. Okay, that's about how thick it is. That's when you want to start tossing it in a little bit different way. Right now I'm just patting it up and down. Now what I want to do is I'm going to throw it down, but I want this end of my clay to hit the mat first, so that when it hits, the rest of the clay will slide, and you'll start to see an oval shape instead. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it again, and it's hard to see on the video that end is touching first, but it is. You are going to have to hold your mat while you do this. And I used a mat just like I gave you, so you'd be able to see that it can be done. And I'm just flattening this. You can see it's starting to form a little bit of an oval. It's still pretty round. It's getting more and more. This end has to hit the table first. It's definitely getting to be more of an oval now. Now about this point, you can see that it's starting to get like cracks and things in it. I'm making this clay move, and it doesn't want to. So what I need to do is called compressing it. I'm going to take my water and my sponge, I'm going to squeeze that out, and then I'm going to rub this sponge over this. Notice it's not pooling. I'm not getting like water dripping everywhere. I'm just moistening it up, and then I'm going to use my metal rib with the straight edge because I'm making a slab. I want it to be flat. I'm going to scrape across where I just rubbed. This is going to do two things. It's going to get any bubbles out that you didn't get out by wedging your clay, and it's also going to make your clay nice and smooth and compact. This extra clay you want to put inside your bag, keep it nice and moist. This is really good clay to use later. I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. Wring out your sponge, just moisten the top of that. It'll also keep your clay moist while you're trying to work with it, which is always an important deal. Again, compressing it using the flat edge. Making sure, I'm using quite a bit of pressure on this to make sure that I'm getting that all nice and smooth. So it's not a weakling kind of a thing, but it's also not, you don't want to cut it in half. Again, put your extra clay off of there into your bag. All right, and then I can continue stretching this. Actually, at this point is a good time to measure. You want this to be a 1/4 inch thick or maybe even a 1/3 inch thick because I'm doing the bottom. Stick your clay needle right down smack dab in the middle of your clay. Then put your fingernail where the clay and the needle meet, and that's how thick I've got it right now. I'm going to measure that, and right now it's at a 1/2 inch thick. If you can see that, that's a 1/2 inch thick. So I need to go a little bit more. Nice thing about putting that hole in there is all you got to do is rub it over, and it'll get it out. So I'm going to continue stretching just a little bit more because it's not quite thin enough. But you know what? I'll bet I didn't even do that very hard. I'll bet that was enough. I'm going to check it again. Oh yeah, I think we're at a 1/3 inch now. Yeah, we definitely are. We're at a 1/3 inch with that. So what I'm going to do now is compress it one last time just to make sure I get everything nice and smooth and all the bubbles out. And I think this clay, I probably used enough clay to do the bottoms of both types of pots. Of course, you only have to do one of them, but I've got enough here that I could do both. And since I'm showing you examples of both, I will go ahead and cut both out of it. I want to turn it over and make sure I do the same thing to the other side. You always do both sides. Very, very nice. That's nice and flat. Looks really good. All right, I'm going to kind of hold that up for you so you can see it. It looks really nice. Now for the round one, I'll just use this container. Put it down on here. It's kind of like cutting cookies out of your dough, right? Use my clay needle to go around that. And I've got a really, really nice round bottom for the bottom of a cylinder pot. If you're doing the cube, you'll want to take either your square or measure 4 inches across, however you want to do it. Patterns are easier for me because then I don't have to worry about mismeasuring. I know that I've got everything just the way I need it. And I'm going to cut that out. And there we go, a really, really nice square piece for the bottom of my cube pot. All right? Now, if you continue on, you can go ahead and just leave these sitting out while you work on the rest of it. If you're doing a cube pot, what you need is 4 more of these. So a total of 5. I will tell you, I always do an extra one just in case one of them breaks on me or collapses or just messes up. So you need 5 of these for it, obviously, because you're going to have 4 sides and a bottom. On this one, we're going to cut out another really big slab, okay? So those of you who are making square ones or cube ones, you could have used the extra clay if you had enough to actually cut 2 of these out of that. And then you'd have to do some more clay and get it so that you've got at least 5. Like I said, 6 if you want to have a backup. You can always just put it back with your clay if you don't need it. All right, that is the end of how to hand flatten your clay, ready for your project.